That answers my question. And it was the blue 2 in rack number 6 that Shane jumped in. Really kind of changed everything. He was trailing 3-2 at that point.
Well, at least Sotero is denied a pot.
Yeah, don't try to get too cute here. I think you just knock it up past the 3, maybe use the second rail. It just got past the side pocket.
Yeah, if it catches that 3 ball just a shade thicker, Van Boening might have been away here. Again, that phrase we used this afternoon, game of fractions.
Does he go all out here, playing the cross corner to the lower left? He's leveled out. Can he? He's just getting it to the bottom rail. This is a veteran move. Extremely clever. So simple, but very effective at times. He knows he's going to get back to the table with that shot. Seao 8-3 lead. Just played a great combination.
Also on table 8, Kuo Po Cheng from Chinese Taipei, who was the runner-up in the World 9-Ball Championship in 2005 and again in 2010. He was 8-1 down to Hussein Ali Yaqub. It's now 8-2. Kuo winning rack 10 to just stay alive.
Yeah, what a sweet hit. Back in the day, these guys would try to kick that in. The younger generation now goes into that ball heavy one rail to create distance. That's what he played there. What happens with a high cue ball when you go into the 2 from that distance is the cue ball kind of just sticks, almost like a low ball. If you catch it full enough, the 2 will get away like this, and a lot of good things can happen. Forced to go to the air. Sotero. Yeah, I don't think he's going to like this result. He doesn't want to be completely straight on this 3. He think you want to come out just a bit further with the cue ball. We always equate SVB to playing great, but I think the most promising thing for me is right now that he may have found something with the break, taking a little off of the pace. It generates so much cue speed, so much power on the break shot, so it's not easy for him to do, taking some speed off.
And where he was forced to leave the cue ball, this is not an easy pot, let alone with shape attached.
Yeah, going to elevate here. Directly into the 7. I thought he was actually trying to go past the 7, but he definitely went directly into it by design, but I don't know if he's come up with a shot here. If he can just see the edge of it, he'll chip it to the right long rail up top and come back down.
Split screen because Sotero has got 3 balls to knock in to win the match. And what a performance it's been. Absolute class. I'll say it again, technically so reliable. And one last examination of cueing here. If the 8 ball goes in, the fate of JJ Fall will be sealed.
It's been a flawless performance. We're sitting 25, 30 yards from the table.
And bear in mind, JJ Fall made much the better start. But the last 3 quarters of the match have been total dominance from Sotero, the only female competitor who is still in the championship. Terrific. 9-3. She beats the South African. Here, Rogelio Sotero refusing to go down at least without a fight.
Well, there is a $10,000 bonus for the break and run. She is holding her finger at some point. We'll get an update on how many racks she broke and ran. Oh, he's fluked the 7 and avoided the scratch. Yeah, oftentimes when you come behind the ball like that, the scratch is real big. You want to catch it a little thicker from the backside. 9, a big ball here, but there's a reward if he decides to cut it. The green 6 down here on the lower right. Hit it great.
I think it's fair to say when he was 3-2 down, it was a minor scare. But he's coped with it admirably. That is 5 racks in succession for Shane van Boening. Another couple required to make it into losers qualification. David Al-Kadi on the hill against Mashari Al-Azhar at 8-2. Khalid Al-Atabi 6-3 upon Koping Han, the youngest of the 3 co-brothers. Down below us on table 12, Mohamed Al-Ghamaizi 7-3 on Stefan Kasper. And Abdul Aziz Al-Amoudi 6-4 on Mark Kalagayan of the Philippines. The stakes are huge. $250,000 US for the winner of this. That's a quarter share of the total prize pool of $1 million US. And if you make it into losers qualification, you're on 2,000, and that's the aim of all of the players involved this evening. Or the immediate aim. The ultimate aim is to get that $250,000.
Yeah, a little firmer than the last few breaks right there. I was kind of touching on that. It's hard for Shane to let off of the power, and I mean, he's got so much power that's really letting off. Finding the timing, not always straightforward.
Well, at the very least, he's made things awkward for Shane van Boening. He's really having to work for it.
Yeah, so I think he'd like to catch the second rail pretty good here. Cue ball tracking down towards the purple and brown. Well, let's just kick it straight in.
Any attacking future here, Scott, or will he just tie Sotero up in knots?
Yeah, you feel like he wants to attack after kicking that ball in, but I don't see it happening. Could go with the 9, I guess. I don't really see that happening either.
This is the World Championship, the most lucrative event in pool. It is not the time to take risks. Tyler Steyer on the hill against Ralph Souquet, 8-3. Konrad Jezushin on the hill against fellow countryman Matthias Snigotsky, 8-5. And Rogelio Sotero here desperately trying to avoid Shane van Boening. Shane van Boening moving to the hill. One winner, David Al-Kadi, 9-2 over Mashari Al-Azhar. A tap of appreciation on the table from van Boening.
He's been doing a lot of tapping for a 7-3 lead. Once again, pretty veteran right there, recognizing where the 8's at, knowing that Sotero can't really get away too far. Here, maybe able to use the pink, I think. He could sliver past the 8. Cue ball kind of rocked to the right a little bit there. That might get it done. At least force SVB to go to a second rail. Uh-oh. Good hit. Poor result.
Yeah, he just grazed the 2 ball. At one point I thought he might be fractionally wide. Now, I was mentioning that Tyler Styer was on the hill at 8-3 over Ralph Souquet. Well, look at this. The end could be nigh.
Yeah, and you just feel like Tyler playing a real good set here.
Souquet was the champion in Sweden in 1996, thumping Tom Storm of the host nation 11-1 in the final. "29 years later, there will be no repeat." Oh, the 9 ball jingled and jangled around, but in the end it fell in. And Tyler Styer, who has, of course, his mind on capturing this title, but also earning significant ranking points to regain his place in the US Mosconi Cup side, he must be delighted with that scoreline, because Souquet, okay, he is very much a veteran, but he remains a force to be reckoned with.
Possibly a chance here to stop the bleeding. Stretched. Back-to-back shots here. Oh boy. A little let up due to the stretch. How long? Importance on making the 8 versus position on the 9. Tend to want to overhit this and pinch it into the right long rail. Take a little speed off. Drawing back a foot or 2 would be okay if you can ensure the make here. Very well struck.
He's one of those strange players. Yes, he is prone to movement on shots, but not all the time. In goes the 9 ball. This match is not over as a contest yet. Rogelio Sotero proving stubborn. It is now 7-4 in favour of Shane van Boening. Now, at this year's World Pool Championship, there is a $10,000 reward for the player who has the most consecutive break and runouts. Robbie Capito from Hong Kong. He's sitting on top of the list at the moment with 5. He could still remain there when the last ball is spotted here on Saturday night. We just saw Seo Sioa produce a very dominant performance to beat JJ Fall. She had plenty of break-in run-outs in that match, but consecutively, the best she did was 2. You see there, tied second, Fedor Gorst and Joshua Filler. Maybe they'll have the $10,000 prize in their sights as well, but it has to be in the context of circumstance. The ultimate priority is always to win. You can't take an unnecessary risk if you got to 3 or 4 or whatever. You have to play the balls and respect the opponent. Just saw a glimpse there of Mario He, the big Austrian. Well, he's now doubling up on Sullivan Clark. He leads 6-3. Abdulaziz Al Amoudi and Mark Kalagayan 6-6. And Hussein Ali Yaqub was 8-1 up on Kuo Po Cheng, but now the twice World Championship runner-up from Chinese Taipei back to 8-4.
Yeah, back to Robbie Capito with the 5 racks consecutively ran. The longer this event goes, the tougher that's going to be to match, in my opinion. The tables will continue to get tighter. Like Phil said, that's really the last thing on these guys' mind. But $10,000 up top for the most racks run isn't too shabby. Sotero with a good look on the 1. I think there's a nice window just coming 1 rail up, maybe a touch of outside between the 7 and 8. Just keep your distance instead of trying to get cute. And it looks like he's digging into this now.
Just when you thought the match was draining away from Sotero, is there going to be a late twist?
He's got work to do. 4 to the 6. I like the fact that he's walked around, really looking at where he wants to be. A little tricky here. Do you punch off the bottom rail between the 7 and 8, or do you go forward, take the steep on the green 6 to the top left? Probably could have used a bit more angle here if you want to go between the 7 and 8. Oh boy, the 9 is a big ball going forward, especially if you warp this. Oh, he's hit it well. And a great look there. The 6 being just off the rail actually helped quite a bit.
Well, in terms of pure potting, he's not made a great amount of mistakes. And he's showing real resilience here. Sotero was 3-2 ahead, then 7-3 down but his head didn't drop, and this match is far from over. A total of 5 players are through to losers qualification in the World Pool Championship. The latest to claim his place, Konrad Jezushin, who's defeated Maciej Snigocki, also of Poland, 9-6. Still waiting though to get through, and no certainty to do so, Shane van Boening. 7-5 up, 2 racks still required, but in the 13th, the man who's just entered the arena again, Rogelio Sotero, breaking off in rack 13. Quite a comeback underway on table 8. Hussein Ali Yaqub was 8-1 up on Kuo Po Cheng, now it's 8-5. Well, that does no harm.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. From the very beginning, I've really liked the way he hits the break. It is tough to tell. If it's tough for him, it's very tough for us. If he can get this down. And Taylor Fuentes right behind him. One of the greats in the referee game. I'll tell you what, though, nothing really stands out to me that Shane's done wrong in the last 3/4 of this match. So credit to Sotero for holding his own. Oh, wow. Very clean.
Now, that was one of those shots where he did move, but afterwards, a split second after the delivery, and that makes all the difference.
Yeah, it's where you start flirting with disaster, right? If you're moving just afterwards, and then all of a sudden you catch a little body movement prior to contact, that's when it all goes bad. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around, in my opinion, but he's going to be one game away here if he clears this. And breaking. Oh, and I got him, Phil.
Well, he was stretching, but that was the biggest blunder of the match from both players. Yeah, just off balance, wasn't he, when he delivered the cue?
Yeah, you can never expect him to miss that, especially how good he's really performed.
Now that had the look of a turning point. But the green could have finished a lot kinder for SVB.
Yeah, I think he's got to be thrilled to be at the table. I think you might want to just take your chance at chopping this. He doesn't like where the 9 is. All right, he's playing percentages. Looks like he might be bringing the 6 back down table. Hard to argue with this hit here.
And that was so precisely struck because, as you saw, the cue ball came so close to a double kiss, but it was just narrowly avoided.
Yeah, I think he's forced to come from the left side of the table here. Can he swerve around the 8? With the cue ball resting on that long rail right there, it makes it very difficult to swerve the 8. I don't believe he can see enough of the 6 to do anything good any otherwise. Boy, it's tight, huh? I guess, is there value if you can catch a piece of it? I don't feel like you're going to get anything out of it. Now, if you swerve and you can catch the 6 just a touch thicker, then maybe you can use the 7 and 9. Kind of like you're sending the 6 up towards the 8. Softly. He's leveled out, so he can see more of it than I think. Well, this is what I was afraid of. If that's all you could see of the 6, I didn't feel like you could get away from it. It was always going to lay in front of the lower right corner. And this is the type of shot that Shane likes to amp up on. Bending the cue ball 1-2 off the right long rail down to the bottom rail with a high ball. And there is the bend.
Well, a great shot from SVB, great call from Scott Frost, and now he's been a little delayed, but I think Shane van Boening about to climb onto the hill. Of course, don't tell him, Scott, but it was at this championship last year in the final rack where Carl Boyes made that incredible call, predicting that Eklund Kachi was going to scratch on that safety, which he did. He was walking around like a Cheshire cat afterwards. SVB with this routine 9-ball to go 3 up with a possible 4 to play. Oh, the luxury of breathing space for the 2022 champion. He leads 8-5, but I tell you what, he's been around, he's been all over the world, he's seen so many pool matches. There is no chance, Scott Frost, of any complacency creeping in.
No, and you almost got to say he got a little fortunate. Sotero missing the 6 that he's really never supposed to miss in this rack. Yes, he was stretched, but the 6 was really looming over that corner pocket, so breathing room is a luxury for SVB.
That's the 6. Oh, will he come to regret that? Mind you, the 6 to 7 shape shot from SVB. That was pure class and very characteristic, as Scott explained, of the way he plays. That's a shot that he loves to produce.
Now, if this is the last rack of this match, it's a real important one for Shane as far as the break shot. He'd love to leave on a positive note. That's a start. Will he get a look at the 2? And got the kiss off the green 6. I do not believe he's going to have any type of a look. He shined in the rollout department. It bugs him, Phil, not getting a look at the 2. It always seems to really irk him. A little bit more than other players.
Yes, and especially on the hill. But it could be 1-0. It does get under his skin. But of course in this game, and it's very easy for me to say this, in this game it's all about acceptance of how the balls fall.
Yeah, well, I think that's what the World 9-Ball Tour has done, right? You have to accept that you're not always going to get a look at the 2. Be thrilled to get the 1 down, and then play from there. I tell you what, though, there's not going to be too many times if Shane van Boening rolls out against me that I give it back. He's always got something up his sleeve. And here it might just be to go ahead and go. If the 2 is frozen, he might take a chop at this to the lower right corner.
Well, he deserved a kiss, and he got 2 beneficial kisses. So now, the road appears to be clear to victory.
Yeah, and that's really a good example as to why you don't want to give it back to SVB. Going to pound out 1 rail here.
Well, I'm sure the neutrals will be delighted if he does come through, because of his extraordinary list of achievements. There is so much gravitas around Shane Van Boening, and when he stays in a tournament and goes deep, he's got that aura. Beaten in the last 16 of this last year by Wojciech Szewczyk. And we were mulling over the possibility of going 0-2. Now, though, loser's qualification is within touching distance.
Yeah, just 4 balls away. And I really think if you're SVB, you've got to be pretty happy about the performance in the last half of the match, without a doubt. I don't really remember any glaring errors. Coming all the way out for the side pocket.
The 2 shots you'll think about in this match. One, the jump on the 2 that was successful for SVB when he was 3-2 down. The other one was the missed 6 ball in the 13th rack from Rogelio Sotero. SVB almost there. You know, there have been a total of 8 American victories in this World 9-Ball Championship. Will Shane Van Boening make it 9? Well, you've got to be in it to win it. And the big man on campus surely will remain in it after this 9-ball. There is a degree of pressure on this. Don't think he had the best of contacts. Ben Taylor Fuente just clearing up what might have caused it. But he spotted thousands of 9-balls of this ilk. Just taking his time, refusing to hurry. Maybe there was some kind of disturbance in his line of sight. So the veteran move, reset. Shane Van Boening, his prevailing emotion will be one of relief. He lost his first match, but he's won his second. He's delighted. He's into losers qualification with a 9-5 win over Rogelio Sotero, who was really stubborn